Ladies and gentlemen, life has a funny way of teaching us lessons. Sometimes respect is given freely, and sometimes you have to earn it bit by bit, moment by moment. But here's the truth, respect isn't about demanding it, it's about embodying it. It's not about power, it's about presence. I've learned through my journey from small town beginnings to global stages that respect is a currency you build, not a favor you ask for. And today, I'm going to share with you 7 powerful psychological tips that will make anyone respect you, not because you force them to, but because they want to. Silence is one of the most powerful tools in human interaction, yet it is often underestimated. The ability to remain silent at the right moments can command attention, build intrigue, and establish a sense of authority that words alone cannot achieve. Many people feel the need to constantly fill every pause with fearing that silence might make them appear unsure or disconnected. However, the truth is that silence, when used strategically, can be a force of dominance and control in social and professional settings. In any conversation, the person who speaks less and listens more holds a position of strength. When you refrain from immediately responding, you give yourself the time to process what has been said and respond thoughtfully. This not only prevents impulsive reactions, but also signals to others that you are intentional with your words. People tend to respect those who don't rush to speak because it suggests confidence and self-control. Instead of reacting emotionally, you create space for deeper understanding and more calculated responses. Observing more than you speak allows you to pick up on subtle cues, body language, tone shifts, and emotional undercurrents that others often miss. This heightened awareness gives you an advantage in any interaction. When you truly listen, people feel valued and understood, which naturally fosters respect. Those who master silence are often perceived as wise and emotionally intelligent. They don't waste words, and when they do speak, their words carry more weight. The value of their speech increases because people know that when they say something, it is worth paying attention to. Moreover, silence creates a sense of mystery. People are naturally drawn to those who don't reveal everything about themselves too quickly. In a world where oversharing has become common, maintaining an air of mystery can be intriguing. It makes people want to know more about you, and in doing so, they subconsciously assign a higher value to your presence. Mystery builds curiosity, and curiosity leads to deeper engagement. When people are left wondering about your thoughts, they tend to fill in the gaps with their own assumptions, often elevating your perceived intelligence and importance. When dealing with conflict, silence can be an even greater asset. Arguments often escalate because people feel the need to prove a point or defend themselves immediately. However, remaining silent in the face of provocation can be far more effective than responding with emotion. It disarms the other person, making them question their own words and actions. The absence of an immediate reaction can make them feel uncomfortable, often leading them to reconsider their stance. Silence forces people to reflect on what they have just said and can shift the power dynamic in your favor. In negotiations, silence is a secret weapon. After making a proposal or stating your position, resisting the urge to fill the silence can put pressure on the other person to speak first. Often, they will feel the need to respond by either conceding to your point or revealing information they might not have otherwise shared. The discomfort of silence compels people to fill the void, sometimes to their own disadvantage. By mastering the art of silence in these moments, you can steer conversations in your favor without appearing forceful or aggressive. Another advantage of silence is its ability to make others reveal their true intentions. When you allow people to talk without interruption, they often end up sharing more than they initially intended, whether in business, friendships, or relationships. Giving people the space to talk freely allows you to gain insight into their mindset, motives, and expectations. The more you listen, the more information you gather, which enables you to make better judgments and decisions. People who talk excessively often give away their strategies, weaknesses, and fears without realizing it. Silence is also a powerful form of self-discipline. In moments of frustration or anger, the ability to remain silent instead of reacting impulsively can prevent unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings. Many regret the things they say in the heat of the moment, but rarely do people regret staying silent. Holding back words when emotions are high prevents damage that might be difficult to repair later. When you can control your silence, you demonstrate emotional intelligence and maturity, which earns respect from those around you. Furthermore, silence can create an aura of authority. Leaders and influential individuals often use pauses strategically to emphasize their points. A well-placed silence before responding can make people anticipate your words more eagerly. It signals confidence, as those who are secure in their presence do not feel the need to rush into speaking. A composed silence before delivering a message commands more attention than hurried speech. The way a person handles silence in conversation often reflects their level of self-assurance and control over the situation. Even in personal relationships, silence can communicate more than words. When someone is speaking to you about their problems, simply listening without interrupting can make them feel truly heard. Many people listen with the intent to reply rather than to understand. However, if you train yourself to remain silent and absorb what is being said before responding, people will respect and appreciate you more. They will see you as someone who values meaningful communication over impulsive chatter. Silence also plays a role in self-reflection and personal growth. Those who take time to sit in silence and observe their thoughts develop a deeper understanding of themselves. It allows for clarity and introspection, which in turn improves decision-making. The ability to be comfortable with silence indicates self-assurance and independence. People who constantly seek noise and distractions often struggle with their own thoughts, whereas those who embrace silence gain mental resilience. In social settings, silence can be an indicator of confidence. When entering a room, those who do not rush to speak or seek validation often command the most respect. Their presence alone is enough to make an impact. They do not need to prove themselves with excessive talking because their energy speaks for itself. Others naturally gravitate toward people who exude quiet confidence because it suggests inner strength and stability. Mastering silence is about knowing when to speak and when to hold back. It is not about avoiding communication, but rather using it wisely. The ability to remain silent at crucial moments gives you control over situations and influences how others perceive you. Those who understand the power of silence and use it strategically often find themselves being respected effortlessly. Setting clear boundaries is one of the most crucial skills a person can develop to gain respect from others. People who lack boundaries often find themselves feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and taken advantage of because they have not communicated their limits effectively. Boundaries define what is acceptable and what is not, ensuring that interactions remain healthy and respectful. When you establish firm boundaries, you teach people how to treat you And in doing so, you naturally command more respect in your personal and professional relationships. One of the most common mistakes people make is assuming that others will automatically understand their limits without expressing them. The truth is, people will treat you based on what you tolerate. If you consistently allow others to overstep your boundaries without consequences, they will continue to do so. This is not necessarily because they intend to be disrespectful, but because you have not made it clear where your limits lie. When you learn to communicate your boundaries assertively, you create a framework for healthier relationships. Establishing boundaries starts with self-awareness. You must first identify what makes you feel uncomfortable, overwhelmed, or disrespected. This could be in the form of excessive work demands, personal space violations, emotional manipulation, or even simple things like constant interruptions when you speak. By recognizing these triggers, you gain clarity on what needs to change in your interactions. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear conflict or rejection. They worry that asserting themselves will make others see them as difficult or uncooperative. However, in reality, people respect those who have the confidence to stand up for themselves. Once you understand your limits, the next step is learning how to communicate them effectively. The key is to be direct yet respectful. Many people try to hint at their boundaries or express them in a passive-aggressive way, which often leads to misunderstandings. Instead of hoping that someone picks up on your discomfort, state your boundaries clearly. For example, if someone repeatedly interrupts you during conversations, you can say, "I'd appreciate it if you let me finish my point before responding." If a colleague frequently dumps their work on you, you can say, "I have my own responsibilities to focus on, and I won't be able to take on extra tasks." The more direct you are, the less room there is for misinterpretation. It is also important to enforce boundaries consistently. Many people set boundaries but fail to uphold them, which sends mixed signals. If you allow exceptions too often, people will assume your boundaries are flexible and continue to push them. Consistency is key to reinforcing the message that your limits are not negotiable. If someone repeatedly crosses a boundary you've established, you need to address it immediately. The more you stand firm in your boundaries, the more others will recognize that you take them seriously. Another essential aspect of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. Many people struggle with this because they fear disappointing others or being perceived as selfish. However, saying no is not a sign of selfishness. It is a form of self-respect. When you say yes to everything, you stretch yourself too thin, leading to burnout and resentment. People who respect themselves do not feel obligated to agree to every request. They understand that their time and energy are valuable and they prioritize accordingly. The ability to say no confidently sends a strong message that you are in control of your own life. Emotional boundaries are just as important as physical or professional ones. It is crucial to protect your emotional well-being by not allowing others to manipulate, guilt-trip, or emotionally drain you. Some people have a habit of projecting their stress, insecurities, or negative emotions onto others, expecting them to absorb and fix their problems. While offering support to loved ones is important, you must recognize when the emotional burden becomes unhealthy. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions at the expense of your own peace. Setting emotional boundaries means knowing when to step back and protect your mental and emotional health. Boundaries also play a significant role in maintaining self-respect. When you establish clear limits, you reinforce your own sense of worth. You teach yourself that your needs and feelings are just as important as anyone else's. Many people who struggle with low self-esteem allow their boundaries to be disregarded because they do not believe they deserve better treatment. However, once you begin to stand up for yourself, your self-respect naturally increases. The more you honor your own boundaries, the more you reinforce your own value. Another powerful effect of setting boundaries is that it helps you attract healthier relationships. People who truly respect and value you will appreciate your ability to communicate your needs. They will not see your boundaries as an inconvenience, but as a sign of self-awareness and strength. On the other hand, those who react negatively to your boundaries are often the ones who benefited from your lack of them. When you set boundaries, you filter out people who do not respect you and create space for relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding. Professional boundaries are particularly important in the workplace. Many employees find themselves overwhelmed with unrealistic demands because they fail to set limits with colleagues and supervisors. While it is natural to want to be seen as a hard worker, there is a difference between being dedicated and being taken advantage of. If you constantly accept extra work without pushback, others will assume you are always available. It is essential to communicate your workload limitations professionally and assertively. By setting clear expectations about what you can and cannot handle, you establish yourself as someone who is reliable yet firm. Setting boundaries also involves respecting the boundaries of others. Just as you expect people to honor your limits, you must be mindful of theirs. Respect is a two-way street. And when you demonstrate that you value other people's time, space, and emotions, they are more likely to reciprocate. Paying attention to nonverbal cues, listening actively, and being considerate of others' limits strengthens mutual respect in any relationship. Another challenge people face when setting boundaries is dealing with resistance. Some individuals may push back when you start enforcing your limits, especially if they were used to you being overly accommodating. They might try to make you feel guilty, manipulate you, or pressure you into bending your boundaries. It is important to remember that their reaction is not a reflection of your worth, but rather an indication of their own inability to respect limits. When faced with resistance, stand firm in your decision without feeling the need to over-explain or justify yourself. Developing strong boundaries requires practice and patience. If you have spent years accommodating others at your own expense, it may take time to unlearn those habits. Start with small boundaries and gradually build your confidence in asserting them. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to communicate your needs without hesitation. Over time, you will notice that people treat you with more respect, not because you demanded it, but because you demonstrated that you value yourself. Confidence is one of the most attractive and respected qualities a person can possess. People are naturally drawn to those who carry themselves with assurance, self-belief, and inner stability. However, many individuals fall into the trap of seeking validation from others, relying on external approval to feel worthy. The problem with this approach is that when your self-worth depends on the opinions of others, you give away control over how you feel about yourself. True confidence comes from within, and those who master it naturally command respect without needing constant reassurance from the outside world. The tendency to seek validation often stems from childhood experiences, societal expectations, or a deep-seated fear of rejection. Many people grow up believing that their worth is tied to how others perceive them, leading to a constant cycle of people-pleasing and approval-seeking behavior. They adjust their actions, words, and even their personalities to fit the expectations of those around them, hoping to be accepted. However, this approach often has the opposite effect. When you constantly seek approval, people sense it, and rather than respecting you, they may take advantage of your need for validation. Confidence, on the other hand, comes from an unwavering belief in your own abilities, choices, and worth. It is not about arrogance or feeling superior to others, but about knowing that you are enough as you are. Confident people do not feel the need to prove themselves or seek permission to be who they are. They trust their own judgment and are not easily swayed by external opinions. This kind of self-assurance is what makes others respect and admire them. One of the most effective ways to build confidence is to develop a strong sense of self. This means understanding who you are, what you stand for, and what you truly want in life. When you have clarity about your values and goals, you no longer need external approval to feel validated. You make decisions based on what aligns with your beliefs, not on what will earn you the most praise. People respect those who have a clear sense of purpose because it signals strength and direction. Body language also plays a crucial role in exuding confidence. The way you carry yourself communicates a great deal about how you perceive yourself. Standing tall, maintaining eye contact, and speaking with a steady, assured tone can instantly make you appear more confident. People instinctively respect those who display self-assured body language because it signals competence and authority. Conversely, slouching, avoiding eye contact, or speaking hesitantly can make others perceive you as uncertain or insecure. Another key aspect of confidence is the ability to make decisions without second-guessing yourself. Many people struggle with indecisiveness because they fear making the wrong choice and facing judgment. However, confident individuals trust their ability to handle whatever outcome arises. They make choices based on the information available and do not dwell on the fear of failure. Even when things do not go as planned, they see setbacks as learning experiences rather than personal failures. This resilience and self-trust earn the respect of those around them. Confident people also do not feel the need to constantly explain or justify their choices. Many people, when faced with opposition or disagreement, immediately start defending their decisions in an attempt to gain approval. However, those who are truly self-assured understand that not everyone will agree with them, and that is perfectly fine. They do not seek to convince others of their worth or prove their competence. Instead, they let their actions speak for themselves. When you stop over-explaining and simply stand by your choices, people naturally start respecting your authority. Another common mistake people make when seeking validation is relying on compliments and praise to feel good about themselves. While positive feedback can be encouraging, it should not be the foundation of self-worth. Confident individuals do not need constant affirmation to feel secure. They appreciate compliments but do not depend on them to validate their value. This detachment from external validation allows them to remain emotionally stable, regardless of how others react to them. Confidence also means setting boundaries without guilt. Many people hesitate to say no because they fear disappointing others. However, those who are truly self-assured prioritize their well-being and do not compromise their values to please people. They understand that saying no does not make them unkind or difficult. It simply means they respect themselves enough to protect their time and energy. When you confidently set boundaries, people learn to respect you rather than take advantage of your willingness to accommodate everyone. Another important trait of confident individuals is their ability to handle criticism without taking it personally. Many people crumble under criticism because they see it as a direct attack on their worth. However, those who are secure in themselves understand the difference between constructive feedback and unnecessary negativity. They evaluate criticism objectively, taking what is useful and discarding what is irrelevant. They do not let the fear of being judged control their actions, and as a result, they gain the respect of others for their ability to remain composed and open-minded. Confident people also embrace their uniqueness rather than trying to fit into societal molds. Many individuals seek validation by conforming to what is popular or widely accepted, even if it goes against their true nature. However, those who own their individuality stand out and command respect. They do not shy away from expressing their opinions, personal style, or unconventional choices. They embrace what makes them different rather than trying to blend in. This level of authenticity makes them magnetic to others. Another characteristic of confidence is the ability to speak up without fear. Many people hesitate to express their thoughts or opinions because they worry about being judged or rejected. However, confident individuals understand that their voice matters. They do not shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They engage in conversations with assurance, express their perspectives boldly, and do not back down when challenged. This assertiveness earns them the respect of others because it signals that they believe in what they are saying. Confidence is also about being comfortable with silence. Many people fill conversations with unnecessary chatter because they fear awkward pauses. However, confident individuals do not feel the need to prove themselves by constantly talking. They understand that silence can be powerful and that true presence does not require excessive words. When you can sit in silence without feeling insecure, you exude a level of self-assurance that naturally commands respect. Lastly, confident people uplift others instead of seeking validation by putting others down. Many individuals try to appear superior by criticizing or belittling others, but this only makes them seem insecure. True confidence is rooted in inner security, which allows a person to support and encourage those around them without feeling threatened. People respect those who inspire confidence in others rather than those who seek validation by diminishing others. Keeping your word is one of the most powerful ways to earn respect. People who consistently follow through on their promises and commitments are seen as reliable, trustworthy, and strong. In a world where many make empty promises or change their minds based on convenience, those who stand by their word naturally command authority. When people know they can count on you to do what you say, your reputation becomes one of integrity, and integrity is one of the most respected qualities a person can have. One of the reasons consistency is so crucial is that it builds trust. Trust is not something that happens overnight. It is developed over time through repeated actions. When you consistently show up and fulfill your commitments, people feel secure in relying on you. Whether in personal relationships, business, or leadership, trust is the foundation of respect. When someone knows that you will do exactly what you say, they begin to value your presence and dependability. Conversely, those who are inconsistent, who cancel plans last minute, or who make promises they don't keep, quickly lose credibility. Consistency is also a direct reflection of discipline and self-control. Many people struggle with staying committed because they operate based on emotions rather than principles. They make promises when they feel motivated but fail to follow through when challenges arise. However, true respect is earned by those who stick to their word even when it is difficult or inconvenient. People admire individuals who have the discipline to honor their commitments regardless of external circumstance. This kind of self-discipline not only gains the respect of others, but also builds self-respect as you begin to trust yourself more. Being consistent does not mean overcommitting or saying yes to everything. In fact, part of keeping your word is knowing when to say no. Many people agree to things out of pressure or the desire to please others, but later realize they cannot follow through. This damages their credibility. It is far better to be honest upfront and only commit to what you can genuinely deliver. When you set realistic expectations, you are more likely to be consistent in fulfilling them, and people will respect you for your honesty rather than for making empty promises. Another reason consistency is so powerful is that it creates predictability in how people perceive you. When someone is unpredictable, acting one way one day and completely different the next, it creates uncertainty and discomfort. People are drawn to stability because it provides a sense of security. When they know what to expect from you, they feel more comfortable and are more likely to trust and respect you. This applies in every area of life, whether in friendships, work, or leadership roles. In business, consistency is one of the key factors that determine long-term success. Many businesses fail not because they lack talent or resources, but because they are inconsistent in their actions. One day they deliver excellent service, and the next they fall short. Customers, employees, and partners respect businesses that maintain a high standard and uphold their promises at all times. The same applies to personal branding. Those who are consistent in their work ethic, values, and communication build a strong reputation that earns respect over time. Another aspect of consistency is reliability in difficult situations. Many people are dependable when things are easy, but true respect is earned by those who remain steadfast even in challenging times. When faced with adversity, people look to those who remain calm, focused, and committed. If you only keep your word when circumstances are favorable but disappear when things get tough, people will view you as unreliable. However, if you continue to show up, take responsibility, and handle situations with maturity, you will gain deep respect from those around you. A major reason people struggle with consistency is a lack of accountability. It is easy to make excuses or shift blame when things do not go as planned, but those who take full ownership of their commitments stand out. When you acknowledge your responsibilities and hold yourself accountable, people recognize your maturity and respect your ability to take charge of your actions. Accountability also means admitting when you have made a mistake and taking steps to correct it, rather than making excuses or avoiding the situation. Consistency also applies to the way you treat others. Some people are respectful and kind to those in positions of power, but dismissive or rude to those they perceive as less influential. This type of behavior quickly damages respect because it reveals a lack of genuine character. True consistency means treating everyone with the same level of respect regardless of their status or what they can offer you. People admire those who are fair and principled in their interactions, rather than those who change their attitude based on who they are speaking to. In leadership, consistency is one of the most important traits a person can have. People follow leaders who are dependable, not those who are unpredictable or erratic. If you are in a position of influence, whether as a manager, mentor, or team leader, your team will look to you for stability. If your words and actions do not align, you will lose credibility. However, if you consistently demonstrate fairness, responsibility, and dedication, people will respect and trust your leadership. Another way consistency builds respect is through personal discipline and habits. People admire those who stick to their commitments, not only in their interactions with others, but also in their personal goals. Whether it is maintaining a healthy lifestyle, pursuing a passion, or continuously improving in a skill, those who remain dedicated earn the admiration of others. When people see that you are committed to growth and excellence, they are more likely to respect your work ethic and determination. One of the most common mistakes people make is assuming that respect is built through occasional big gestures rather than small, consistent actions. While grand promises and dramatic efforts might capture attention momentarily, they do not build lasting respect. What truly earns admiration is the ability to show up every day and do what needs to be done, even when no one is watching. The small, everyday habits of discipline, reliability, and honesty are what create a lasting reputation. Another important aspect of keeping your word is being honest about your limitations. Many people damage their credibility by overpromising and under-delivering. It is far better to be upfront about what you can and cannot do than to agree to something and later fail to follow through. Honesty about your abilities and time constraints not only prevents disappointment, but also reinforces your reputation as someone who is realistic and trustworthy. Consistency also means staying true to your principles and values, even when pressured to do otherwise. Many people compromise their beliefs to fit in or to gain temporary approval, but those who stand firm in their values earn long-term respect. Whether it is in ethical decisions, personal integrity, or standing up for what is right, people admire those who do not waver based on external influences. The ability to be consistent is not something that happens by chance. It is a choice that must be made every day. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and a strong sense of responsibility. While it is easy to be motivated in the short term, true consistency is built through long-term commitment. Those who practice it not only gain the respect of others, but also develop inner strength and confidence in themselves. Mastering the art of communication is one of the most powerful ways to earn respect. The way you express yourself, the way you listen, and the way you engage with others all play a crucial role in how people perceive you. Many individuals struggle with being heard or taken seriously because they fail to communicate effectively. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or social interactions, your ability to articulate your thoughts with clarity and confidence determines the level of respect you command. One of the most essential aspects of effective communication is speaking with authority. When you express your ideas with conviction, people take notice. Many individuals undermine their own credibility by using weak language, hesitating before speaking, or seeking approval through their words. Phrases like "I think," "I'm not sure," or "maybe" dilute the impact of a message. Confident communicators, on the other hand, state their thoughts directly and assertively. They do not over-explain, apologize unnecessarily, or look for validation in the reactions of others. They understand that their words have value and deliver them with certainty. Tone of voice also plays a significant role in commanding respect. A strong, steady tone conveys confidence and clarity, while a hesitant or uncertain tone can make even the most intelligent points seem weak. People naturally respect those who speak with a calm yet firm voice because it signals self-assurance and control. Volume also matters. Speaking too softly can make you seem unsure, while speaking too loudly can come across as aggressive. The key is to find a balance where your voice is clear, steady, and deliberate. Another critical component of effective communication is body language. Words alone are not enough to establish authority. The way you carry yourself reinforces your message. Maintaining eye contact, standing or sitting with good posture, and using purposeful gestures all contribute to a strong presence. People who avoid eye contact or fidget while speaking come across as unsure of themselves, which can make others question their credibility. On the other hand, those who hold their ground, use deliberate movements, and engage with others through eye contact project confidence and command attention. Listening is another powerful aspect of communication that many overlook. People often focus so much on what they want to say that they forget to truly listen. However, one of the fastest ways to earn respect is to become an excellent listener. When you listen attentively, you show that you value the other person's thoughts and perspectives. This creates a sense of mutual respect and makes people more receptive to what you have to say in return. Active listening involves more than just hearing words. It requires understanding, responding thoughtfully, and making the other person feel heard. One of the biggest mistakes people make in conversations is waiting for their turn to speak rather than genuinely listening. This leads to shallow interactions where both parties are simply trying to push their own points forward. However, those who take the time to understand before responding gain deeper respect because they demonstrate emotional intelligence and patience. When people feel truly heard, they naturally develop a sense of admiration and trust toward the listener. Clarity is another fundamental principle of strong communication. Many people make the mistake of overcomplicating their speech or using excessive filler words that dilute their message. Clear and concise communication leaves a stronger impact. People respect those who can express their thoughts in a way that is easy to understand yet powerful. Rambling, adding unnecessary details, or constantly shifting topics can make even important messages lose their effectiveness. On the other hand, those who can get to the point while maintaining depth and meaning command attention. One of the most challenging but necessary skills in communication is handling disagreements with poise. Many people either become overly defensive or completely avoid conflict, both of which can diminish respect. However, those who can navigate disagreements with grace and assertiveness earn admiration. The ability to express opposing views without aggression, listen to differing perspectives without immediate rejection, and stand by one's opinions without hostility is a mark of strong communication skills. People respect those who can debate intelligently without resorting to personal attacks or emotional reactions. Another crucial element of communication is choosing the right words for the right situation. The way you speak to a friend is different from how you address a superior at work or how you handle a serious discussion. Being able to adapt your communication style based on the context shows emotional intelligence and maturity. Some people fail to earn respect because they do not adjust their tone or approach based on the setting. However, those who understand social cues and tailor their words accordingly command respect in any environment. Another powerful communication tool is the ability to remain calm under pressure. Many individuals lose credibility when they allow emotions to control their responses. Whether in a heated argument, a high-stakes negotiation, or a challenging discussion, maintaining composure is key. People respect those who do not let frustration or anxiety dictate their words. When you remain steady in your speech and demeanor, you project strength and control, making others more likely to take you seriously. A major communication mistake that damages respect is speaking without thinking. Many people respond impulsively, saying things they later regret. However, those who take a moment to process their thoughts before speaking demonstrate wisdom and self-restraint. They do not speak just for the sake of filling silence, but choose their words carefully to ensure that what they say holds value. This type of communication earns respect because it shows intentionality and thoughtfulness. Being able to communicate with different types of people also plays a crucial role in earning respect. Some individuals struggle with respect because they only know how to engage with those who are similar to them. However, those who can hold conversations with people from various backgrounds, industries, and viewpoints demonstrate adaptability and intelligence. Being able to connect with a wide range of individuals shows social skill and broad-mindedness, both of which command respect. Another important communication skill is knowing when to remain silent. Many people underestimate the power of silence in conversations. Not every moment needs to be filled with words, and sometimes pausing before responding can make a statement even stronger. People who respect silence and use it strategically appear more composed and intentional in their communication. They do not feel the need to constantly prove themselves through excessive talking, but instead let their words carry weight when they do speak. Respect in communication is also built through authenticity. Many individuals try too hard to impress by using complex words, mimicking others, or speaking in a way that does not align with their true personality. However, the most respected communicators are those who are genuine in their speech. They do not pretend to be something they are not, nor do they force themselves into communication styles that feel unnatural. Authenticity creates a sense of trust and reliability, which naturally earns respect. The ability to handle difficult conversations with tact and diplomacy is another trait of strong communicators. Avoiding uncomfortable discussions may seem easier, but those who can address sensitive topics with honesty and respect earn admiration. Whether it is delivering constructive criticism, setting boundaries, or confronting issues, people respect those who can navigate difficult conversations without hostility or avoidance. The way you communicate ultimately defines how people see you. Those who refine their speech, actively listen, remain composed under pressure, and adapt to different social contexts naturally earn the respect of those around them. Self-respect is the foundation of how others perceive and treat you. If you do not respect yourself, it is difficult to expect others to respect you. Many people struggle with gaining the respect of others because they unknowingly allow themselves to be treated in ways that diminish their worth. Self-respect is not about arrogance or thinking you are better than others. It is about valuing yourself enough to set boundaries, maintain your dignity, and refuse to tolerate disrespect. When you respect yourself, it shows in your actions, your words, and the way you carry yourself, and others respond to that energy with admiration and regard. One of the most important aspects of self-respect is setting clear boundaries. People who lack self-respect often allow others to take advantage of them, whether in personal relationships, friendships, or professional settings. They say yes when they want to say no, tolerate mistreatment because they fear conflict, or let others make decisions for them. When you set firm boundaries and enforce them, you communicate that you value yourself. People respect those who have clear standards and do not allow themselves to be pushed around. Saying no without guilt, walking away from toxic situations, and refusing to compromise your well-being for the sake of pleasing others are all signs of self-respect. Another sign of self-respect is how you treat yourself. People often look at how you handle yourself before deciding how to treat you. If you neglect your own needs, speak negatively about yourself, or allow yourself to be in situations that do not serve you, others will mirror that behavior. When you prioritize your well-being, take care of your physical and mental health, and carry yourself with dignity, People see that you have standards for yourself and they treat you accordingly. Respect starts from within, and when you demonstrate it in your own life, others will follow suit. How you allow people to speak to you is another crucial element of self-respect. Many people tolerate disrespectful comments, rude behavior, or dismissive attitudes because they fear confrontation. However, every time you let someone belittle you without addressing it, you reinforce the idea that it is acceptable. People respect those who do not allow themselves to be spoken to in a degrading manner. This does not mean responding with aggression or hostility, but calmly and assertively letting others know that disrespect will not be tolerated. When people see that you will not accept being spoken to poorly, they will be more careful with their words and actions. Self-respect is also reflected in the company you keep. The people you surround yourself with influence how others perceive you and how you perceive yourself. If you associate with those who constantly bring you down, disrespect your time, or treat you poorly, it suggests that you are willing to accept that treatment. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who uplift, support, and respect you, it reinforces the message that you have high standards. People respect those who are selective about their relationships and do not tolerate toxic influences in their lives. Another way self-respect manifests is in how you handle mistakes and setbacks. Many people lose confidence and self-worth when they fail or experience rejection. However, self-respect means understanding that failure does not define your value. People who respect themselves acknowledge their mistakes, learn from them, and move forward without allowing them to shatter their self-esteem. They do not dwell on past failures or let them dictate their future actions. When you maintain self-respect despite challenges, people admire your resilience and inner strength. The way you present yourself also plays a role in how you're treated. While appearance is not everything, the effort you put into how you carry yourself sends a message about how you see yourself. Taking pride in your grooming, posture, and overall presence communicates that you value yourself. People respect those who carry themselves with dignity and confidence. It is not about impressing others, but about showing that you respect yourself enough to present yourself in a way that reflects your worth. Respecting yourself also means not settling for less than you deserve. Many people accept mediocrity in their relationships, careers, and personal lives because they fear they cannot do better. However, self-respect means believing that you are worthy of more and refusing to accept situations that do not align with your standards. People respect those who know their worth and do not settle for less than they deserve. When you walk away from situations that do not serve you, it sends a powerful message that you value yourself enough to wait for what is truly right for you. Another crucial element of self-respect is taking responsibility for your actions. Many people make excuses for their behavior or blame others when things go wrong. However, those who respect themselves take full accountability for their choices. They do not shift blame, avoid responsibility, or justify poor decisions. Owning your actions, learning from mistakes, and continuously striving for growth demonstrates integrity and maturity. People respect those who take control of their lives rather than playing the victim. The way you handle criticism also reveals your level of self-respect. People who lack self-respect either take criticism too personally and allow it to damage their self-worth, or become defensive and refuse to acknowledge any flaws. However, those who truly respect themselves listen to feedback without letting it define them. They evaluate whether the criticism is constructive and use it to improve, but they do not let it shake their confidence. When people see that you can handle feedback with grace and self-assurance, they respect your ability to grow without losing your sense of self-worth. Self-respect is also about keeping your word to yourself. Many people are good at keeping promises to others, but repeatedly break promises to themselves. They set goals, make commitments, and then give up as soon as it becomes difficult. However, those who respect themselves follow through on their commitments, even when no one is watching. When you keep your own promises, you build self-trust. And this inner reliability translates into how others view you. People respect those who are disciplined and committed to their own growth. Another important aspect of self-respect is not allowing others to control your emotions. Many people give away their power by allowing external circumstances or people's opinions to dictate how they feel. However, those who respect themselves remain emotionally stable, regardless of what others say or do. They do not let criticism, rejection, or negativity shake their confidence. When you maintain emotional control, people see that you are not easily manipulated or influenced, and they respect your strength. Self-respect is also about standing up for your beliefs. Many people compromise their values or go along with things they do not agree with to fit in or avoid conflict. However, those who respect themselves stay true to their principles, even when it is difficult. They do not bend their morals for approval or change their stance based on pressure. When people see that you stand by your values, even in challenging situations, they respect your authenticity and conviction. The way you use your time is another reflection of self-respect. Many people waste time on activities, relationships, or habits that do not contribute to their growth. However, those who respect themselves are intentional about how they spend their time. They invest in self-improvement, prioritize meaningful activities, and avoid distractions that do not align with their goals. People respect those who are disciplined with their time and do not waste it on things that do not serve their purpose. Ultimately, self-respect is a choice that must be reinforced daily. It is demonstrated in the way you treat yourself, the way you allow others to treat you, and the standards you uphold in every area of your life. The more you respect yourself, the more others will naturally follow suit.